Lesson 19, at the garage.
Your radiator hose is broken.
I thought so.
I'll have to replace it. I can have it ready for you in half an hour.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Evans. What can I do for you?
I want to have my car serviced. Change the oil, lubricate it.
Change the oil filter?
Yes.
Anything else?
I'd guess you'd better check the brakes while you're at it.
Okay.
What seems to be the trouble, Larry?
It doesn't steer right. Will you look it over?
Sure thing. It'll be about an hour before we can get to it, though.
That's okay, Bert. I don't need it until this afternoon.
We had to replace your battery.
Was that all there was wrong?
Yeah, runs fine. If you have any problem, bring it back. Carl, have you fixed that flat tire yet? The owner's here.
Yeah, it's all done. It had a nail in it.
Yes? What can I do for you?
My car isn't running right. I think it needs a tune-up. How much does that cost?
$25 plus parts.
What parts?
Oh, usually spark plugs and points, things like that.
All right. When can I get it?
I can have it ready for you about 4 o'clock.
Fine. Oh, I almost forgot. One of my turn signals is out. I think it must be the bulb.
Okay, we'll check it out.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. May I help you?
Yes, please. Fill it up.
Regular or premium?
Regular.
Do you want me to check under the hood?
Yes, please.
Your oil's okay. Your battery needs a little water. Now, just let me clean your windshield and you'll be all set.
Thank you.
Talking with the mechanic. 1. Listen.
Is my car about ready?
Soon. It's still being serviced. Now substitute these words.
Serviced.
Soon. It's still being serviced.
Lubricated.
Soon. It's still being lubricated.
Fixed.
Soon. It's still being fixed.
Tested.
Soon. It's still being tested. 2. Listen. What seems to be the trouble?
I'm having trouble with the steering.
Now substitute these phrases. The steering.
I'm having trouble with the steering.
The brakes.
I'm having trouble with the brakes.
The fan belt.
I'm having trouble with the fan belt.
The carburetor.
I'm having trouble with the carburetor.
The radiator.
I'm having trouble with the radiator.
The battery.
I'm having trouble with the battery.
3. Other things you may need to say at a garage. Repeat these sentences.
My car's hard to start.
My car stalls.
I've got a flat tire.
My car hesitates.
Something's wrong with the brakes.
The battery's dead.
One of my headlights is out.
The gas gauge is broken.
The speedometer isn't working.
The air conditioning doesn't work.
Something's wrong with the heater.
The radiator's leaking.
Practice. Practice these noun compounds. Repeat, please.
Headlight.
Gas gauge.
Seatbelt.
Trunk lid.
Light switch.
Gear shift.
Windshield.
Steering wheel.
Parking light.
Air filter.
Turn signal.
Battery cable.
Door handle.
Windshield wiper.
Tell the mechanic what's wrong with your car. You have driven into a garage to have some work done on your car. On the wall is a price list of various services performed by the garage.
Lubrication, $3.50. Change oil, $2.50. Replace oil filter, $4.50. Repair tire, $2. Rotate tires, $4. Balance tires, $4. Front end alignment, $19.95. Reline brakes, $45. Replace muffler, $32.50. Install new shock absorbers, $65. August special, minor tune-up, $34.95 plus parts.
Tell the mechanic what you want done to your car.
Practice drills and exercises. 1. Passive. Continuous form without agent. Study the examples and then do the sentences. Examples.
They're servicing your car.
Passive. Your car is being serviced.
They were planning a crime.
A crime was being planned.
They aren't throwing anything away.
Nothing is being thrown away.
Now you do the exercise.
1. They're fixing the brakes.
The brakes are being fixed.
2. They were changing the battery.
The battery was being changed.
3. They're replacing the bulb.
The bulb is being replaced.
4. They were following us.
We were being followed.
5. They were doing something important.
Something important was being done.
6. I'm answering the question now.
The question is being answered now.
7. They aren't doing anything about the problem.
Nothing is being done about the problem.
8. They aren't recording anything now.
Nothing is being recorded now.
2. Indefinite pronoun plus adjective or relative clause. Substitute. Listen to the models.
I met someone very important.
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 Famous.
I met someone very famous.
I met someone very famous.
I met someone very famous.
Now do the exercise.
I met someone very important.
I met someone very important.
famous,
I met someone very famous.
interesting,
I met someone very interesting.
pleasant,
I met someone very pleasant.
strange,
I met someone very strange.
rich,
I met someone very rich.
important,
I met someone very important. Do the drill again, this time constructing a sentence with a relative pronoun. Example. Listen to the models.
I met someone who was very important.
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 famous,
I met someone who was very famous.
I met someone who was very famous.
I met someone who was very famous.
Now do the exercise.
I met someone who was very important.
I met someone who was very important.
famous,
I met someone who was very famous.
interesting,
I met someone who was very interesting.
pleasant,
I met someone who was very pleasant.
strange,
I met someone who was very strange.
rich,
I met someone who was very rich.
important,
I met someone who was very important. Substitute. Listen to the models.
I didn't have anything comfortable to put on.
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 blue,
I didn't have anything blue to put on.
I didn't have anything blue to put on.
I didn't have anything blue to put on.
Now do the exercise.
I didn't have anything comfortable to put on.
I didn't have anything comfortable to put on.
blue,
I didn't have anything blue to put on.
clean,
I didn't have anything clean to put on.
new,
I didn't have anything new to put on.
better,
I didn't have anything better to put on.
comfortable,
I didn't have anything comfortable to put on.
3. Verb plus that clause. So as a replacement for that clause.
Repeat the statements of fact, omitting the subordinate pronoun that.
1. I think it's going to rain.
2. I don't suppose he'll tell her.
3. She hoped Greg would call.
4. They don't believe there's enough time.
5. He expects his car will be ready.
6. I believe the pickup truck belonged to Larry Hall.
7. Russ thought his radiator hose was broken.
Speaker A. Use the statement of fact and form a yes-no question. Take the part of Speaker B. Reply according to the statement of fact, using so to replace the that clause. Follow the models.
1. Do you think that it's going to rain?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, I think so.
2. Do you suppose that he'll tell her?
No, I don't suppose so.
No, I don't suppose so.
No, I don't suppose so.
Now you do the exercise.
1. Do you think that it's going to rain?
Yes, I think so.
2. Do you suppose that he'll tell her?
No, I don't suppose so.
3. Did she hope that Greg would call?
Yes, she hopes so.
4. Do they believe that there's enough time?
No, they don't believe so.
5. Does he expect that his car will be ready?
Yes, he expects so.
6. Did you believe that the pickup truck belonged to Larry Hall?
Yes, I believe so.
7. Did Russ think that his radiator hose was broken?
Yes, he thought so.
Answer these questions using I think so, I don't think so, I believe so, etc. You can use these verbs: think, believe, imagine, suppose.
1. Is it going to rain within the next 24 hours?
2. Will you take a long trip next year?
3. Will you inherit a lot of money during the coming year?
4. Are you a good student?
5. Do you speak English pretty well now?
6. Is the airport in your hometown well constructed?
7. Are you prepared for the job you are doing?
8. Do you believe you will be very rich someday?
9. Can you find the meanings of words by looking them up in an encyclopedia?
10. Could you enter a hotel and ask for a room in English?
11. Could you tell a mechanic what was wrong with your car?
4. Relative clauses. Relative pronouns who and which as subject. Say the sentence again, replacing the relative pronoun that with who. Listen to the model.
1. Those are the men that were planning the crime.
Those are the men who were planning the crime.
Those are the men who were planning the crime.
Those are the men who were planning the crime.
Now you do the exercise.
2. Greg's one of the university students that's working at Hickman's Lodge.
Greg's one of the university students who's working at Hickman's Lodge.
Three, he's the lawyer that takes care of all my law problems.
He's the lawyer who takes care of all my law problems.
Four, Thomas Hickman's the one that bought the first piece of land in Estes Park.
Thomas Hickman's the one who bought the first piece of land in Estes Park. Say the sentence again, replacing the relative pronoun that with which. Listen to the model.
1. Guatemala is the country that grows marvelous coffee.
Guatemala is the country which grows marvelous coffee.
Guatemala is the country which grows marvelous coffee.
Guatemala is the country which grows marvelous coffee.
Now you do the exercise.
2. I want you to see the movie that's playing at the Nestor Theater.
I want you to see the movie which is playing at the Nestor Theater.
Three, Shanghai is the city that has the most people.
Shanghai is the city which has the most people.
4. I want you to see the car that I bought yesterday.
I want you to see the car which I bought yesterday.
5. Relative clauses. Relative pronoun. Form a new sentence using the cued word and the relative pronoun that. Listen to the model.
1. Joe always fixes my car. Mechanic.
Joe's the mechanic that always fixes my car.
Joe's the mechanic that always fixes my car.
Joe's the mechanic that always fixes my car.
Now do the exercise.
2. The First National may give you a loan. Bank.
The First National is the bank that may give you a loan.
3. Florida grows the most oranges. State.
Florida is the state that grows the most oranges.
4. Mr. Long drew the plans for the building. Architect.
Mr. Long's the architect that drew the plans for the building.
5. Mr. Wills takes care of my grandfather. Nurse.
Mr. Wills is the nurse that takes care of my grandfather.
6. English is spoken in New Zealand. Language.
English is the language that is spoken in New Zealand.
7. Mr. Jones lent me the money. Person.
Mr. Jones is the person that lent me the money.
8. McHenry's makes the best sandwiches in the world. Restaurant.
McHenry's is the restaurant that makes the best sandwiches in the world.
9. Carter and Son manufactured our air conditioner. Company.
Carter and Sons, the company that manufactured our air conditioner. Do the exercise again. This time use who for people and which for things. Listen to the model.
1. Joe's the mechanic that always fixes my car.
Joe's the mechanic who always fixes my car.
Joe's the mechanic who always fixes my car.
Joe's the mechanic who always fixes my car.
Now do the exercise.
1. Joe's the mechanic that always fixes my car.
Joe's the mechanic who always fixes my car.
2. The First National is the bank that may give you a loan.
The First National is the bank which may give you a loan.
3. Florida is the state that grows the most oranges.
Florida is the state which grows the most oranges.
4. Mr. Long's the architect that drew the plans for the building.
Mr. Long's the architect who drew the plans for the building.
5. Mr. Wills is the nurse that takes care of my grandfather.
Mr. Wills is the nurse who takes care of my grandfather.
6. English is the language that is spoken in New Zealand.
English is the language which is spoken in New Zealand.
7. Mr. Jones is the person that lent me the money.
Mr. Jones is the person who lent me the money.
8. McHenry's is the restaurant that makes the best sandwiches in the world.
McHenry's is the restaurant which makes the best sandwiches in the world.
9. Carter and Sons, the company that manufactured our air conditioner.
Carter and Sons, the company which manufactured our air conditioner.
End of lesson 19.